In this lesson, we're going to review the automation of database reports with VBA using a formula method. Let's start by taking a look at the typical use cases of automating database reports with VBA. The typical use case in automating database reports is to extract relevant information. These reports include preparing inventory reports or conducting sales analysis. If you've identified steps that are repeated very frequently, then you can easily automate that process to save time so that you don't have to repeat several steps for the same type of report over and over again. And we can use VBA to do that. In this scenario, we have created a sample database file from which we want to extract total units sold against each sales representative. In this lesson, we're going to use a shortcut route by pasting the code that we've already provided in the lesson worksheet. And we'll explain the syntax of that code in the end so that you can modify it to suit your needs. You can refer to lesson Automate Database Report with VBA-Recording Macro, which is a slightly different lesson that shows you how to build a macro from the ground up. But in this case, we're already going to provide you with the VBA text that you can just copy and paste into your macro and just modify it slightly in order to set up the macro. So let's dive into the example. The first step is to open up the sample database workbook and save it as a macro-enabled workbook. This is important because you won't be able to create a VBA macro without enabling your workbook to do so. So we're going to go ahead and do that. The next step is to enable Developer tab in your Excel if you don't already have one. So just go to File, then click on Options at the end. You'll find a Customize ribbon tab. Click it and it'll give you a list of customization options. From the drop-down menu, select Main tab and click on the Developer tab. Now click OK after you're done adding. Before moving forward, we want the database results to display as shown here. The database column C, showing representatives' names, will be reproduced in column J with duplicates removed, and next to it will be the total units sold by each of them. Next, the third step is to navigate to Visual Basic from the Developer tab. This will open up the Visual Basic interface. The fourth step is to click on the Insert tab and select Module. It'll open a workspace for you to insert the VBA code. You can find the VBA code at the bottom of the lesson worksheet. The next step is to copy the code and paste it in the module workspace. Then you can either press F5 or click on the play button to run the code on your sample database file. You will see that the sample database file will show the results exactly as we showed earlier. Let's now go through each layer of the VBA code so that you can understand how the code works and modify it based on your specific requirements. We're now going to explain each layer of the VBA code so that you can have a better understanding of how the VBA code works and then modify the code as per your specific requirements, because you're working on certain workbooks that may be dissimilar to the workbook that we have here and that we've used in our example. So in the VBA code, the first layer is to simply use the offset function, which directs Excel to move from one cell to the other based on a specific row and column number. In the beginning, the predefined Excel cell will be set to cell A1. So from the syntax, we are telling Excel to move 0 rows and 2 columns forward from the cell A1. Once Excel moves to cell C1, we are asking it to select the entire column. The second layer is instructing Excel to copy the column we selected using the previous syntax. In the third layer, we are again using the offset function. Please note that in this case, the active cell is C1 due to the syntax operation in the first layer. We are now instructing Excel to move 7 columns forward from the cell C1. This will make cell J1 to be the new active cell. The fourth layer is instructing Excel to paste the copied column on the new active cell. We will use this column to remove the duplicated values. The fifth layer is the remove duplicates function. We are simply selecting the entire column J and removing the duplicate values. The syntax is also defining that the data for removing duplicates is in one column and it contains a header as well. The sixth layer is simply the offset function to select cell K1. We want to create a header for the total units sold by each representative. In the seventh layer, simply type the header as mentioned before. In the eighth layer, we are instructing Excel to move 1 row downwards. We are doing this because we will now proceed to enter formula to generate values against each representative's name. In the ninth layer, we can see that now the active cell is K2. The code simply enters the SUMIF formula where it selects the column C having the representative names and column E having the total units sold. The negative numbers represents corresponding column distance from the selected cell. Leftward or upward cell movements are represented by a negative sign. The 10th layer is simply copying the SUMIF formula to the rest of the representative names to give the result next to each representative name. And that's it. You can customize it as per your own needs and make edits to this code, which is available in this workbook, in order to achieve your desired results for whatever database you're trying to automate. So I hope that this lesson was useful to you and you can now start automating certain processes that were redundant for you previously. Hey guys, thanks for watching this lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe from you. And if you want to learn more about Microsoft Excel, check out these videos above. And don't forget to check out our website, commercecurve.com, where we have lots of in-depth finance and accounting courses available with full training workbooks. All of our courses come with complete workbooks of lessons, examples, pre-built financial models, and training video. Hope to see you there.